All right, let's talk about a single technical decision that can literally make or break your website. We're diving into multi-page versus single-page applications. Now get this wrong and you might as well be building a website that's designed to be invisible.
And that really brings us to this high-stakes question. You see, this gets to the heart of a classic problem. A technical choice, often made by developers without the marketing folks in the room, can accidentally hide your entire site from Google and, well, from everyone you want to reach.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to lay the groundwork for why this matters so much for getting discovered. Then, we'll get into what these two architectures actually are, bust a few common myths you've probably heard, and then wrap it all up with a simple checklist so you can make the right call for your projects. Okay, so to really get a handle on that invisibility risk, we've got to start at the beginning. We need to look at the very foundation of how search engines find anything on the internet in the first place. And this right here, this is the absolute crux of the issue. This choice isn't just some techie detail for developers to worry about. No. For any business that relies on articles, on products, on blog posts, your site's architecture is a fundamental business decision that dictates your ceiling for organic growth. So, let's meet the hero of our story today, the multi-page application, or MPA. You know, it's the traditional, time-tested way to build a website. And as we're about to see, there's a very good reason it's so friendly to search engines.
The best way to think about an MPA is to picture a classic library. Every single book, or in this case, every single blog post, every product page, every article. It has its own unique cover, its own title, and its own specific spot on the shelf. This makes it incredibly simple for the librarian, or for Google, to find it, understand it, and recommend it to someone else.
And the process itself is just beautifully simple. A user clicks a link, the browser asks the server for a new page, and the server sends back a complete, fully formed HTML file. That's it. This simple back and forth is the native language of the web. It's exactly how search crawlers were built to operate. There's no guesswork, no ambiguity.
Okay, so if that's the classic MPA, how does it really stack up against that slick, more modern alternative, the single-page ad? Let's put them head-to-head and see what happens. This really nails the core difference. On one hand, you've got that MPA library we just talked about. Simple, clear, organized. On the other hand, you have the SPA, the single-page app. Think about using Google Docs or Figma, right? The whole thing loads just once, and then the content sort of magically changes inside that one shell. It feels super fast and fluid, for sure, but all that magic can be seriously confusing for a search engine that's just trying to read and catalog your pages.
Now, this table breaks it all down. Just scan down the MPA column. What do you see? Words like native, excellent, effortless. It's all just built in. The architecture works with you. Now look at the SPA column. The theme here is challenging, complex, requires workarounds. You see the pattern right? With an MPA, good SEO is a natural result of how it's built. With an SPA, good SEO is a tough engineering problem you have to solve, and it's often an afterthought.
Now, because SPAs are the shiny new thing, there's a lot of hype out there that can be pretty misleading. So let's take a minute and just bust a couple of the most common myths you're going to hear.
Oh yeah, this is the big one. You hear it all the time, especially from developers who just love that modern app-like feel of a single-page application. But is it true? When it comes to actually being found online, what's the reality?
And here's where that hype train hits the brakes. Modern does not automatically mean better for SEO. Not at all. To get an SPA to show up properly for search engines, developers have to add this extra complicated layer called server-side rendering. It's basically a fancy, expensive workaround to make the SPA pretend to be an MPA. It adds cost, it adds complexity, all to do something the MPA does naturally, right out of the box.
And this is another belief that can get you into a world of trouble. It's this idea that, hey, Google's tech is so advanced now, it doesn't matter what you build. They'll figure it out.
But here's the bottom line. Google's crawler, as smart as it is not perfect. It's a machine, and it works on a budget. It has to make choices. It can easily miss content that only shows up after a user clicks on something, or it might just decide that crawling your dynamic content is too much work and move on. With an MPA, you just completely remove that risk. All the content is right there, up front, in plain sight. You're not leaving your visibility up to chance.
Okay, let's tie all this together. How do you actually figure out what's right for your project? Here's a quick and easy strategic guide to help you out.
Look, for any site where the individual pieces of content are your product, the NPA is the undisputed champion. I mean, think about it. Every single blog post, every news article, every product page, every help document, each one is a brand new doorway for a customer to find you through search.
You want as many of those doorways as you can possibly get.
So this is it. This is your final checklist. These are the critical questions to ask your team. Does every important piece of content have its own unique web address? Can we set a specific title and description for each one? Is our sitemap and linking structure logical? If you can answer yes to all of these, you are on the right path. You're building a foundation for discovery, not for obscurity.
So to wrap it all up, it's actually pretty simple. If being discovered through search is what drives your business's success, then the multi-page application is the proven, lower friction, and frankly, much more reliable choice. It's as simple as that.
And that's the final question I want to leave you with. As you start planning your next web project, just ask yourself, are you building a platform for discovery, or are you accidentally building for obscurity? Choose wisely, because your decision will unlock or lock away the visibility your great content truly deserves.